Went to TPF like twice, okay? Tusker Project Fame. Yeah, I went to Tusker Project Fame like twice and it was always a no. Well, so now I was like, let's just go. There's nothing to lose. If anything, you're just getting better. So I went. There was a long line of ladies. Whoa, Jesus Christ. And then guys, they were like, you know those ladies who probably sing nicely and they go and converge themselves in a corner, telling themselves that they are the ones who got this. So I was intimidated, and I think I was among the last people. It was me and then Rachel. And so I went and performed.
Baby girl, me sina pressure. Niwe wanicheza.
Love is so sweet. It's a beautiful thing. Niwe na mimi nawe milele. Let's make love. 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 Calling out to you, tutafanya kile tunataka kudu. Oh, I'm here for you. You know I love you. Baby, you know I've given my love only to you all this time. Lakini unaniletea pressure, kila mara tunajipoteza.
I'm used to listening. I mean, I was in a girl group for a long time, so the introduction was always easy. I could be like, Linda, 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 the harmony, you know? So this is kind of like nostalgic for me, but I'm Beryl. That is my official name. But my stage name is HalleBee. We kind of split with the girls after, that was back in I don't know, was it 2019, 2018, thereof. So in 2020, I started to do my stuff. I wanted to go solo, do something that would push me out there. Also trying to learn myself, my personality. And so that's why I decided on HalleBee. HalleBee came in very early before I even knew that it could be something. So I'm over here. I'm a fan of Halle Berry. That is like my icon. Halle Berry is my icon. So somebody was like, why don't you just call yourself Halle Berry? Then that's how I started. So I felt like HalleBee is a good stage name. So that's my name as for now. I am a jack of all trades. But I'll start with my poetry because I love to put in words creatively. So I am also a poet. That's why Essential Suki is there. That's my other Sasha Fierce name in this creative world. I mean, everybody is doing poetry, but I wanted to focus in sensual poetry. I mean, people they try to avoid what they're feeling. And to me, sensuality is a thing that people don't need to shy out from. I had a podcast that I was doing with my work in radio. It's an online radio. And it actually panned out really well, talking about sensual stuff in relationships. And I figured this is really good. So I am all about embracing sensuality, embracing your body as a woman, however you look, the boudoir photography. So I decided to be confident in that line. So that's, apart from music, that's what I do. Just express myself through poetry. And also, I am a mother. I'm also learning to be that. Also, I do other jobs in terms of online. That's what I was saying. I was a jack of all trades. I'm trying to put them one in one. And I'm also a karaoke host. So I do so many things at once. But the main idea is that I love to just put it out, my creativity, my artistry, and bring people together with it. I'm a Nairobian, okay? Mini Bontao, okay? I'm guilty. But I know Luo. I'm a Luo. And that is the language that my mother started me with. For some reason, I am getting worse at it, but I know Luo. So I was born and raised in Buru, Islando person. Then, of course, I've lived in Buru, lived in Umo, and Donholm. Then now I'm venturing into the Thika Road segment, so I'm living there on that side. But I was born in Islando. So, I went to school. There's a time I stood in front of the parade and I was just in class. What to? And I was saying a shairi, like in front of everybody. And I crammed it the night before. And I am remembered by that in my primary school every time. So I think I was always a performer. I was always someone who wanted to shine in creative arts and everything. So I think that's what stood out in my childhood. And I went to Nairobi River. That was my primary school. All the way. Then, I scored a good grade, okay? Yeah, respect thy queen. And also I went to Pangani Girls. Yes, of course. Of course, I don't want to associate anything negative. I know everybody says, "Gee, what about Pango?" But yes, it was an amazing school, and I learned a lot. My Christianity-based foundation was actually there. I'm a Christian, so I learned a lot from that. And my music also grew there. My music grew there, and I was literally doing the traditional performances, drama, festivals. Yeah, I remember I choreographed a song, and we actually went all the way to, I think, number 2. We took second place. I'm so grateful about that. And after that, I went to Maseno University. I think with every step, I learned a different personality of mine, different side of my personality. So in campus, I was all about plays, and I got into so much writing poetry. And also just focused in doing, because I did communication and media, like journalist right here. I should be with you right there. But yes, those are the things I did. Then after campus, I graduated in 2013. Then tukaingia kwa life, like the reality, adulting, finding out what you want, and the life is not so smothering as everybody else. Yeah, it's a scam. Growing up is a scam. So yeah, you'll be your own spectator, you'll be your own, I don't know, you learn how to just grow up. So I think from there, I have been having my, I mean, I lost my parents later on, early at an early stage. When I was in primary, I lost my parents. So I started out being a mother to my sister. We were only two when I was very young. And I guess that I grew up earlier than my age. So by the time I finished campus, I dealt with a few things here and there with that strength that I learned, basically. Looking for a job, getting to do some jobs, got even into real estate for some time. It doesn't look like a creative thing. I don't want to get so much into my childhood, but there are some traumatic things that happened. And I think that is where my pain when it comes to writing music comes in. And that's how I started doing my poetry, because I started doing my poetry when I was in school, just writing, scribbling things, expressing how I feel, because I always felt like I'm scared to express myself. So a pen and paper was the go-to place. But as a child, I was always more responsible. I think even losing parents at a younger age made me a more responsible person, childlike. I am fun as well, but my fun is usually limited because I'm always thinking in that context. Listen, when I grew up, I always knew I was going to be an accountant. Then I changed into being a lawyer. The lawyer part was very strong up to the moment. Actually, that was my first choice. I wanted to be a lawyer. I've always wanted to be a lawyer. That would be me in a different world. Then I missed it with 1 point. Is it 1 point or I don't know. I couldn't get into UON. I felt really bad. So my second choice was media, communication and media. I mean, that was the closest that could be with me wanting to be a lawyer. So, and I was called all the way to Maseno. I mean, at that time, I wasn't really sure about this Maseno thing. I even wanted to, change and go to KU and pursue law. But I think everything just works according to how it's supposed to work. My auntie was living with the doctors. It's like maybe you being in communication will be able for you to, make people's lives better or talk about things in a wider perspective. Yeah, when you're a lawyer, you're trying to help someone. But then when you're a journalist or someone in the communication world, you do it at a larger, in a larger spectrum so that so many people's voices are heard. So that's how I kind of got to be involved, convinced to go to Maseno. The first few weeks I was not convinced that I wanted to do the course. But as it went on, I kind of found myself. I mean, when I was I think the most I did, when I was in primary school, I was more into drama, choral verses. I was always participating outside. I was a girl guide, I was a brownie. I played cricket, I did sports. Okay, I was always all around. I don't like to be just in class. I'm not that type of person. So I played cricket. By the way, to a point where I was actually a very serious player. Then when we got to Pangani, I don't know what happened. They were not offering cricket, so we were just doing other things. So that is a part of me that people don't know, but I did. I was very sporty. So yes, I have participated in so many things. I could do a lot of things. I think that's how I get to manage myself. Somehow I do manage it. When I was in Pangani now, that's when I got into more songwriting because it's a soulful school. Yeah, it's a very soulful school when we're singing, when you're doing things. So you just find yourself writing. I'm this type of person who, wherever I am, I try to thrive. So I'm very competitive. When it comes to education, when it comes to exams, I have to ace them. So it's going to be kwa kamiguku kwa bisheni, like we used to do, majibaridi. Yeah, whatever it takes for me to thrive. I don't like to come second. I don't like to, though I'm learning with life that sometimes it happens, but I always want to be first. So I'm very competitive in whichever environment I'm in. So I remember one time actually, I was doing my laundry at the balcony, and there was someone who was also a producer, just, ground floor. And they had me singing, and they even called me. They're like, what? You can actually sing? And I remember they gave me a beat to do a song. I wrote a song. Cheers. I wrote a song, and it was just good, yes, but I just didn't like that environment. The guy didn't have good intentions, so I let it go. But the fact that he actually listened to me and told me that, you can do this seriously, made me think about it. I went to TPF like twice, okay? Tusker Project Fame. Yeah, I went to Tusker Project Fame like twice, and it was always a no. Well, so now I was like, let's just go. There's nothing to lose. If anything, you're just getting better. So I went. There was a long line of ladies. Whoa, Jesus Christ. And then guys, they were like, those ladies who probably sing nicely and they go and converge themselves in a corner, telling themselves that they're the ones who got this. So I was intimidated, and I think I was among the last people. It was me and then Rachel. And so I went and performed in front of Wawesh. I knew Wawesh Mjanja, and there was another guy called the Beatmaker, and Myra. So yes, when I went there, I was shaking like a leaf. But I did Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys is my go-to person. All her songs are my go-to songs. So I did Alicia Keys, Lesson Learned, and they loved it. Actually, I think that was the moment I knew that maybe I'm something. Because the way they actually received me was beautiful. Then we went through a lot of processes. It was not easy, like doing as a group, working as a group, going to do harmonies, where we coordinated with some chicks, until the last time. So they found the three of us, but one of us wanted to do acting, so chose acting. So the project went silent for a while, for almost like 2 years or 1 year. Then Wawesh called me and told me, let's look for the third person. And that's when we found Alexis. That's how I used to call her our last born. That's when Linda was formed. And I think Wawesh got me thinking about music in terms of business, like looking at it like something that is a project, not just, you're going to sing, give me the mic, So yes, he kind of brought that seriousness to it in my life. And then that's how we met. That's how Linda started. And the rest is history. My experience at Linda was some great times. I'm not going to lie. Especially when we started, it was a very, very good venture. Everything was worked out. I learned how to do work plans. We had a way. Like every week you knew something you're going to do. So there was no lacking. But I guess sometimes people get different, not opinions per se. You have perspectives that collide. And at the end of the day, you do not find a common ground from the different perspectives. So when that is not happening, then you get stuck. So I think that's why we got stuck because of different perspectives, especially from a point of view. I think where we had a problem was there were differences from either side. Either we want this thing to happen so fast. We probably Wawesh, as a person who was piloting this thing, was also having some challenges here and there in terms of, wanting things to work around. But he did it so well because everything was always, we had a day of doing something. And then there was also mistrust, misdirection. Everybody's going to tell you something about someone. So you start having mistrust. And in a group, when that happens, nothing is going to progress because there's no trust. So that was the problem that happened. And now small things started to tick. That is the main problem. But sasa vitu ndogo ndogo, things started to get to people. And the girls, we left with Wawesh. It was a bad split. At least we got to reconcile it later. But then also with the girls, I also split with them because we had just different, we're on different pages. Different pages. And sometimes someone told me, a wise person once told me that you cannot, when you're with people, when you're trying to talk to people, and they are not in your space and they don't understand what you're saying, there's nothing you can do at that point to make them understand. You have to pull yourself back and let them be. So I took that very seriously because it was also for my peace of mind. It's very hard to be in a group and not have conflict. It is bound to happen. But again, if all of you are on the same page, it is always going to work. Look at Sauti Sol, you know. I'm not saying they've never had differences. We would never even know. But they probably were on the same page. And that's why they progressed. So unfortunately for us, that might not have worked out for us. But I wish us all well. I guess for moving forward, we are here and we're moving forward. No, you know this signing thing, man. Listen, I would love to. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but it's all about wisdom. Yeah, and also experience and learning from experience. That's all I can say. I can tell you for sure I fell into depression, okay? Because my personality or the type of person I am, I like to see things to fruition. If I start something, I like to see the fruits of whatever I've labored for. And I never in my life thought that we would split. And I looked at Linda as my baby, you know, like, let's do this. And I fought for it to the end. But I mean, there were some battles that were not for me. So that kind of got to me and I was scared because when I got to Linda, I didn't have, as I told you before, I was a bathroom singer. Okay, in as much you can have a raw voice, but some people like, you know, Alexis and Rachel, they had some experiences in singing with people, doing a band. So even when I was growing with them, I always looked myself as last because I was learning some things, learning harmonies, learning how to do this. Them, it was coming naturally to them. And to some point, I was like always asking myself whether I would be better, I would be good, even if I was alone. So that got to me for some time. And luckily, I'm going to like say this, like I will never, Sedo is a good mentor, you know. I know you know Sedo, the producer. At that time, I actually had asked him if we could work. Before we split, I asked him if we could work together with him. Then he replied later after we split. So he kind of knew there was something wrong. So he guided me throughout that split. If he was not there, I think I would probably be in a hole. So he kind of made me feel. He had like training for artists. So I attended that. That probably gave me the strength. He gave me a way of writing my plan to the end. And yeah, that's how I got over it and even realized that I can work. He was asking direct questions, you know, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to become? And he told me, every time you're looking at the dark side, just look at the bright side. Like, don't go there. So he made me always visualize it. Sometimes some things might be so dark, you don't know what's going to happen, but focus on the light, focus on the light. So Sedo probably helped me a lot throughout that transition. Then I got myself, some people wanted to work with me in terms of managing and stuff, which didn't work out. And thank God I learned early, not later. Then we start feeling bad. So they kind of just left it hanging after I did Mapenzi Hayafiki Bei. So Mapenzi Hayafiki Bei gave me strength. That's when I transitioned. I started writing. And we did it with MG, it's a producer as well. So that was my transition. That's how I transitioned. Started off with my solo projects, which was my single, Mapenzi Hayafiki Bei. And it was fun working with MG, that was a producer, and Steph Capella. Like, Steph is a friend, he's a good and amazing person, an artist. Sasa inajua tu ako kwa ligi zenye zinaendelea tu kuendelea huko juu kwa kina calligraph, but he's a humble soul, and he's also someone that I learned a lot from. So he was like, oh, what, if you want to do something, let's do it. And we just, imagine he came to the studio that day and he just literally wrote those lyrics. What had happened was I was in a relationship, and that time I was going through it, and I was just feeling so confused, you know. And they were like, yeah, let's do a song. So I was just listening to something, and then all of a sudden I just had Mapenzi Hayafiki Bei in my head. Like, how much do you need to give in a relationship for it to work? So I just came into my line and just sang it, and over again, came up with the chorus. And then when we went to the studio, the lyrics just came in. For me, I think I write a lot through pain. Even good times. I don't just write about painful times. Even good times, I get them from the pain. So it was just that experience that made me write. It is actually from a real experience, that Mapenzi Hayafiki Bei. No, melody ilikam. Melody ilikam, then I played with an instrumentalist, then who was working with MG in the studio. Then he kind of just arranged the whole song later on. I arranged it from my chorus. Then we graduated to the whole song. It was very spontaneous. And so that's why I think I was excited. I was like, I could actually write. I always loved to be a songwriter. Sanai Peitande has been someone I look up to. And also Bien and what is his name? Finagitu. Yeah. I love the way they write the song. So I was trying my space out into my songwriting, and I think it panned out well for that first. It gave me courage. Then COVID came. Yeah. I think that explains itself. So now I'm back, and we're getting back to it. More songs are in the pipeline. First of all, I will always be forever grateful to mentors. I'd call them mentors. Wawesh really mentored me, you know. I mean, even if we had differences in and there, but I take the way he was working is beautiful, and I learned from it. And it's something that I would always replicate even in my solo projects. He taught me a lot. And then there's, of course, Sedo, who helped me throughout that transition and made me know that I am worth it. You know, sometimes you just feel like you're valueless or worthless. So when someone like that helps you, you feel very important. And even cappella, like even I've met some people who are very humble, advising you, empowering you. Cappella has been also a great friend and a great, let's say, mentor in the making, because he's also learning a lot about himself. But yes, a good friend. And there's even more to come. There are other people, other artists that have impacted towards me. There's this boy band called Alfajiri. They've helped me doing one of my solo projects that is in the pipeline. Kina Brandon, they are amazing. So, and I mean, Alexis and Rachel also helped me in a way, in learning some of my skills that I didn't know I have. So I'm forever grateful for every bond I formed along the way. Worst experience was me losing, forgetting my lines and on stage and also being off key. Oh God, I will never forgive myself. No, we were not doing, we were all on set. There's a way we had arranged our songs, but of course the way we were just doing our renditions. But you know, when you're working with a group, there's harmonies, there's everything. So you have to sing your part. And if you go off key, you're affecting the entire performance, okay? Yes. Oh my God, how could I forget the pianist, James? He was a great mentor, still a great mentor. So yeah, even that time when I went off key, he's like, don't worry, we can do crazy. Even when he had me going off key, sometimes he could pick it up with his piano and just make me feel comfortable. I'm forever grateful for that. But that was my worst experience. Best experience was when we actually were nominated for Cafe Ngoma Awards. It's usually done annually, and we won. We won the best new artist as Linda. That was a good feeling. I actually saw ourselves at the BET winning this awards. Yeah, that was the best moment.